How's it going? Welcome back. It's Jonathan. Okay, so yeah, where are we? What's happening? Well, this is another weekly update. I shouldn't say weekly. I'm turning out a monthly update now on the BTC market, and I'll also jump into the Dow Jones before we sign off. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this update today is because of a few comments and a few posts that ASX Trader. So if you're not too sure of ASX Trader is, you can Google, YouTube him, even check him out on Facebook. He's super bearish on Bitcoin. And I'm not super bearish, I'm not super bullish. I think this year is not much is going to happen in the markets. Next year is when the real show begins. That's according to my research anyway. So where are we? What do I think? How does it line up with what he's doing? Also, on top of that, what's he looking at? And can we get any clues from the past if he might be right or wrong? So this is not to shitpost anyone, this is just to get some more confirmation or clarification on what's actually happening in the markets. Now, he's really good. I would say that he's probably nailed the Elliott Wave stuff, the price action stuff. If you look at his charts, he's doing simple relative strength index, on balance volume, divergences. He's doing support and resistance, and Elliott Wave is really, I'm not going to say like to degrade, but it's really simple, which is really good. Okay, keeping your analysis simple is really good. I like to complicate things, because I'm trying to achieve something different. So what I wanted to do first was take a look at the 90-day Bitcoin cycle and just go over a few points. Okay, so if I just get up my little pencil here, what we have here, if you don't know what it is, I want you to go and just watch past videos on the 90-day cycle. Okay, so this is what we're just looking at, and we're essentially looking at our 90-day cycle, which again is 1/4 of the circle, so 90 degrees in time essentially. And we're going forward in time, and we're trying to find out if we got a right translation or left translation top. Again, please go back to the old videos where I explain everything. This one here, for example, we had a left translation top, which means the top occurred on the left-hand side of the midpoint. And then what we had here was potentially now a right translation low, or a low on the right-hand side in this endpoint here. Now, what that usually means is that the market is bearish, and the market is going to have a lower high than where it began, a lower low than where it began on the left-hand side. As we can see, we're very far away from that. So we're getting some indecision in the market where it's trying to push lower, but it's having a lot of difficulty. And for this to actually be a valid 90-day cycle, it actually needed, well, I would have liked to see, just so that we can confirm this, actually a push down to this $19,000 level. As we can see, we're not getting that at all. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff here. So what that means is, for now, I would probably cross this one off and would maybe go for this cycle here to be the one that we should have been watching. That's a low that occurred here. We had our midpoint right here. Yes, the market did push down again, but the market did rally up. We had our midpoint here, which means we ended up getting a right translation top, which just means that the high of the move is on the right side of this midpoint. And then anything that happens to the right-hand side of that in this ending period, which is our orb for our end of the cycle, is going to be higher than where it began. And as we can see, it definitely is higher than where it began. So using that form of research or analysis right here, we'll be looking for another 90-day cycle to be starting, potentially around these two lows here. This low here is the bottom, and then this low here is actually higher. If I zoom in a little bit, we can actually see that, that low there cracks just a little bit higher than this low that's in here. You might not be able to see it, but anyway. So what that means is if we count forward 90 degrees in time, and we move to our end of cycle, what we're looking here is we're looking for either a left or a right translation top of this midpoint. If the market finds a top on this side and then falls lower than this low here, there's a very high chance that this ending point, which is happening in August, is going to be lower than the starting point. It's okay if it's lower than the starting point, because foresight is being warned, and we can actually see or actually get an idea on what's going to occur. If, however, the market pushes higher, and it pushes higher into this right side of this midpoint, then we can have another added certainty that on this side of this ending point of the cycle, the 90-day cycle, it is likely to be higher than this low instead of lower than the low. Okay, so you see how that's all adding up there? Now that is using Ray Merriman's thesis on the cycles. The 90-day cycle is the one that I picked out for this one. Again, I've been tracking it for a very long time and I have updated it. It's been tracking the Bitcoin cycle very well. And this is where we are. So now we're looking for what's going to occur around June, if we're going to shoot higher or if we're going to fall lower into the end of around August. I don't have anything else to say on that. I'm not tracking anything else at the moment, okay? What I want to do is I want to shoot over to our X-date and also take a look at this Bitcoin chart that I just put on here before. So this is what ASX Trader is going on about. Now, I'm not trying to discredit, I'm just trying to go into it just so we can get a little bit of an idea. He's saying that if we get on-balance volume falling and we get the RSI falling, which we see is in the opposite direction of price, it's saying that price of the move is not being supported by the market. So volume is falling and the strength of this move is falling. Now that is called divergence and this is a fact and I'm not going to go against it. But what I wanted to do was go, well, hang on. Has this occurred in the past and is there any way that we can actually, perhaps get any more clarification on this happening in the past and to see if this is going to occur now or not. So all you do, and I did look into this and I just thought I wanted to look into it publicly just so that we can sort of go into it together. If we take these lows over here, so this is the low that happened in 2018 before the market started to scoot higher again. We can see that the OBV, the on-balance volume, was trending higher until it met this point here before it started trending lower, and the price, as you can see, the price is also following that direction. So price is down, on-balance volume is down, price is up, on-balance volume's up. With regards to the RSI though, as we can see, the market is not breaking higher on the RSI. It is in the overbought territory, no doubt about that, but it's not breaking higher on the RSI. It's not going higher than this 90 period, despite price moving higher. Now that would be considered a divergence one way or another, especially if you angle this RSI down to capture this lower period here. You would say, okay, well, price is actually not being supported by the relative strength. And then as we can see, the market does fall lower. So yes, in a way, he is going to be correct. The market is going to fall lower. But I don't know if the market is going to fall lower forever. And I don't really know what ASX Trader is on about in the sense of his long-term ideas, or if he's just doing several weeks at a time before reanalyzing the markets. So should we be worried that the market is likely to crash and go to zero? I don't think so. That's my thesis anyway. But let's go back and take a look at another cycle. Now I'm just confirming ASX Trader's theory, okay? Again, we got two periods to look at. We got this ultimate low here in January, then we got the secondary low in August. If we just take a look at these periods here, we can see on-balance volume being supported into the top, on-balance volume being supported into the top. Market moves down, on-balance volume falls down, so forth. With respect to the RSI, it's also being supported, no direct divergence there. And same with this one, no direct divergence there until we get this lower top here. And then you could probably start to do your analysis to suggest that perhaps the market is getting slightly weaker from this period here out to this period here into the top before the market falls. Now, as you can see, what I wanted to show you was, and this is what I think is going to be crucial, the RSI and the OBV can be relatively repriced very quickly from one minor shakeout. We can go from oversold to overbought territory, or overbought and oversold territory, in a very quick time span. For example, this took simply a month for it to recorrect itself, and it went from overbought to oversold. That was a month before we start to be able to get this trajectory higher, where the RSI seems to be kicking in and no divergence is showing again. So whether we're going to get a 1 month shakeout or a permanent shakeout where the market is going to go haywire, that's yet to be seen. In this instance, we had overbought to oversold, which took about 2.5 months. 2.5 months of declining price before the market was oversold, and then it started to trend higher. We did get a break of this top here just briefly before the COVID crash occurred, and then the market resumed again. So what do I think is going to happen here? I'm not disputing, as I said, I just want to reiterate, not disputing at all ASX theory. But however, I think that if we're going to fall down, it's going to be really short, sharp. It's going to occur between the time periods of June, July, August, possibly September. I don't think that we're going to break these lows here, not at all. I think that we might come down into these lows here before bouncing higher. And that's just, remember, that's just to go into account our August time period that we're watching for a potential low in Bitcoin based on the 90-day cycle. Yeah, like for me, these elements are lining up in a way that I would say that we're getting time elements signaling that possibly August is a time period. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we get a shakedown into a lower price in that time period. That's just sort of where I'm looking, okay? Let's head on to the Dow Jones. So what I was doing is I was tracking what we would call an X-date. Now, the US Congress is having a bit of an issue right now with the debt ceiling. You know, they're having a bit of a crisis and the government's likely to shut down and on and on and on. So I thought that instead of watching the US's X-date, why don't we create our own X-date? Now, what I had here was I had a number of time counts which sort of started to line up, which gave us a time period around June, and then again, June 13th to 14th, around that time period, and then around June 21. This is our immediate time counts, okay? Now, I'm not going to go out into August. I want to look at that next. But I wanted to put something out there that we should be watching for around June. And my thesis originally was that we're potentially going to get a bottoming pattern around June. And that would be ideal. I do think that we're probably going to get a final low around August on the Dow Jones again. But I wanted to see a bottoming pattern happen around June. Now, what this red one here is, this one here is a forecasted bottom I had. I did forecast a bottom which occurred 220 days off this low here. I brought it out. As you can see, 220 days is something that I've been doing a few times now. So we got 220-day count off this one out to here. And I got a 220-day count from this one out to here. And I had suggested that we might get a bottom in the market purely because of the last times that we were having these red indicators. So each color-coded arrow is connected to a prior color-coded arrow. So this red one here is connected to this one, this blue one is connected to this blue one, which is connected to that blue one, and so forth. I thought perhaps we would get this bottoming pattern occur where we get red, red, red. Looks like it didn't happen. Instead, we have to actually go and change it because I was wrong in suggesting that we were going to get a bottom. Instead, we got a top, and that top occurred right here, okay? The market pushed lower, so I'll get rid of this one now. The market pushed lower for several days, and it headed into the 25th. Now, 25th is a bottom. I'm not going to deny that. That is a bottom. Unfortunately, I've only got 3 colors. I'm going to give it another symbol, actually. So the 25th is a bottom, and I think the market is going to push up from here. If the market's going to push down, it has to break that low that occurred on the 25th. It really does. The 25th is actually a very significant date. So if it's going to push lower, it's got to break below the 25th. And I would say that the next time count that we're watching, okay, so I'm going to put this out here now. I'd be expecting a possible change of direction to occur maybe around the 5th. So between the 3rd to the 5th. What is the 3rd? The 3rd is a Saturday. And the 6th is the Tuesday. So we got a weekend break there. So we might get a bit of an issue between a Friday and Monday rollover. But that's the most immediate time count that I would be watching. And I would say that we could be probably pushing higher into a top. And I'm going to mark this top with a green. I'm going to keep tracking these because I really want to know how the market's going to vibrate into our X-date. Are we going to get something that occurs around the X-date? Is it going to be just written off and completely ignored? Yet to be seen. I would like to see a top occur. I would like to see a series of tops because I want to get a very good bottom on this X-date. I want to get like a major bottom. And then I want us to get a secondary major bottom in June. That's the ideal scenario right here. So we're looking for a bottom, top, bottom, top. Do you see these green ones here? Let me just go ahead and circle them. We have bottom, we have top, we have bottom, we have top. I wouldn't mind a polarity flip, getting another top, okay? Because I want the market to push lower into this date. That's the ideal scenario. You know, we could get a green arrow here. It might happen. It might be a bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom scenario. but it would be nice if we actually get a top and the market pushes lower. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. This market's going sideways. It will continue to go sideways. As we can see, we're trapped right now in this price range. It will continue to go sideways. The lows are in for most of the markets. I don't think we're ever going to get back down to this low anytime soon, the October low. For Bitcoin, we're not going below that November low. I don't see that happening at all. And all we're doing now is trying to find the next signal to advance. Again, this is not a buy or sell signal service. This is just an idea on the macroeconomics, and we're refining it. We're going in deeper and looking at the micro stuff by looking at the daily charts, the time counts, and the inbuilt price action in the markets. Well, I hope you maybe picked something up or got an update that you could find useful, at least for the next month to two. And I'll be back in touch when I see the market unfold and I get a better confirmation and clarification of what's happened. I'll talk to you again.